never going into the woods again. I've never been much for superstition, but I know what I saw. I can't explain it, but I'll never forget it. It was late October when I decided to head out to my family's cabin in the mountains. It's an old, creaky place nestled deep in a pine forest. My grandfather built it back in the 60s, and it's always been our getaway spot when life in the city gets too loud. I wanted solitude, some time to clear my head. The first night was uneventful, peaceful even. The wind whispered through the pines and the fire crackled as I read an old paperback. But as the hours ticked by, I began to feel uneasy. It wasn't anything concrete, just the nagging sense that I wasn't alone. Around midnight I heard it, a faint rustling outside like someone, or something, moving through the leaves. I told myself it was just a deer or maybe the wind, but my gut said otherwise. Grabbing a flashlight, I stepped onto the porch. "Hello?" I called, my voice trembling more than I'd like to admit. The beam of my flashlight swept through the darkness, illuminating nothing but trees and underbrush. The sound had stopped. I stood there for a moment, listening, but all I could hear was my own breathing. I shook my head and laughed nervously. "Get a grip," I muttered, heading back inside. I locked the door, but the feeling of being watched lingered. Lying in bed, I couldn't shake it. Every creak of the cabin felt amplified, every shadow sinister. At some point, exhaustion took over.